Sorry about missing yesterday, but I'm back. And we have sort of a double header here of presidential campaign-related criminal trials. First, we got last night new charges brought against Donald Trump. They're not the January 6th charges. Those still haven't happened. It's currently like 2:30-ish in the afternoon. I haven't heard anything about it, so I don't think they're coming today. They're not going to drop that at 5 o'clock on a Friday. Charges against Trump for January 6th, that's going to be big news. They're not going to do it on a Friday afternoon news dump. So I think that's off the table for this weekend. We'll revisit that next week. But what they did do is introduce new charges in the Florida case about the whole Presidential Records Act. And Trump is being accused now, because it's hard because there's so many different cases, and we've heard this before. He's being accused again of obstruction of justice. But before, I think they tried to impeach him for obstruction of justice. Like the first impeachment, wasn't that the charge, if I remember correctly? This is not related to that. Oh yeah, that's right. It was because of the Mueller investigation, because they said that Trump wasn't supportive enough of Mueller, and he criticized Mueller publicly, so that was obstruction of justice. I think was back like impeachment 1.0, like before the Ukraine phone call impeachment. Now they're saying that he obstructed justice in the classified documents case at Mar-a-Lago, because they're saying that he told someone at Mar-a-Lago to delete security footage. Which I think they can, even if he wasn't convicted on the other charges of mishandling classified documents, I think that they could actually still convict him on the obstruction thing, even if there's no underlying crime. That's how things like this usually work. You know, they charge people with resisting arrest and nothing else. You know, just to clean, resisting arrest. It's like, well, what'd you arrest them for? It's like, well, actually, we had no reason to arrest them. But they resisted when we tried, so therefore they're still guilty of resisting arrest, and you'll go to prison. So by that logic, if they just prove that he told someone to delete documents, even if he doesn't get convicted of the underlying crime of mishandling classified documents under the Espionage Act or the Presidential Records Act and all that, pretty sure that they can still get him on this. So, they already had like 40-something charges. Did they really need to pile on more? No, but it's adding insult to insult at this point. And honestly, I would like to hear at this point, I know that it's verboten amongst Trump supporters. Oh my gosh, you can't talk about this. You know, what are you, a traitor? Are you disloyal to Trump? You know, it's like, well, I'm a voter. I'm not loyal to any of you people. But that's not how cults work. In a cult, you're supposed to be loyal to the leader. Whereas in my world, ideally, you know, if we're going to take this whole democracy thing seriously, which I don't take it seriously, but, you know, thought experiment. If I took democracy seriously, you should expect the leaders to be loyal to the voters, not the other way around. But anyway, moving on, I would like to hear Trumpy Bear discuss these charges, talk about how, you know, reassure his voters, explain legally, because I think a lot of people, you know, I should say a lot of people, I guarantee you, at least 70, 80, 90% of folks, including Trump voters, do not realize that Trump would even be eligible to be president if he gets convicted of anything. They might just think, you know, hey, you know, I know felons lose their voting rights. You know, if Trump gets convicted of something, he's not going to be able to be president. And if I were Trump, I would want to reassure people, hey, guess what? You know, your vote for me is going to count. You know, maybe his attitude is, I don't have to campaign because I'm so far ahead. And, you know, that might be correct. You as Donald Trump might not want to bring this stuff up. You might not want to talk about these uncomfortable subjects. Or then again, you know, you might like to talk about it because painting yourself as the victim, which he clearly is a victim in this case, does make you look good. So leaving aside whether it's politically beneficial or not, I personally would like to know what Trump thinks about this. What is your answer to this? They're clearly trying to put you away for the rest of your life, and even if somehow miraculously you were found not guilty on all charges in one of these cases, any of the others are going to convict you and put you away for life. Are you just, putting yourself up to the mercy of the judge? Are you betting that the judge won't put you in prison for life? I mean, hell, even the state of Georgia, which is, we're told, it used to be a deep red state. Now it's supposed to be a swing state. Well, that state is trying to put Trump in prison. Even if Trump was elected president and pardoned himself, guess what? All the state charges don't go away. He's still going to have to serve out his term, his prison term, which will last longer than the 4 years he's president. Trump could be elected president and never see the inside of the White House. And so at this point, I think it needs to be addressed. Just practically. I'm not saying you win, because the Trump supporters, they're going to be in my ear and saying, oh my gosh, if you even consider the idea of Trump going to prison, you're letting the deep state win. It's like, well, no, when the deep state tries to put you in prison, you have to consider that the deep state has all the institutional power, and if they want you in prison, odds are they're going to put you there. And so the question is, to me, then what? Or is he betting that he's not going to go to prison? Maybe Trump doesn't think he would go there. Maybe he thinks that they would never actually go through with it. If that's the case, he should say that. I mean, he still refuses to spill the beans on the JFK assassination. I mean, think about it. And Trump said, I forget who he said it to. I think it was Tucker, maybe, who he told personally. I read the JFK stuff. I wanted to declassify it, but I stopped it because once I had read it and I understood it, it was too terrible. I couldn't let the American people know that. It would just destabilize our country. And what he's saying is, it would make the deep state look really, really bad. No one would trust them anymore. Why is Trump still protecting them? Even this stuff, these classified documents he's accused of leaking, the recording of him disclosing classified information. What was that classified information? Oh, it was that the military was trying to go around the president against his wishes to start a war with Iran, which at the time I was scolding Trump because of the stuff with Iran. I was saying, what is Trump doing? He's going to start a war with Iran. But in private, Trump has evidence, he claims. Now, we the people aren't allowed to see this evidence, but Trump claims he has evidence that it was actually Milley doing all that, and that Trump would actually put a stop to it. And that if it weren't for Trump there, being there, Mike Pompeo and the U.S. military would have started a war with Iran. Now, that's big news. Why doesn't he tell us that? Why does he tell that to some, these ridiculous people who hate his guts and leaked it to the media? They went in wearing a wire, just hoping that he would say something that they could later bust him for. If Trump is supposedly on my side, if he wants me to be loyal to him, why isn't he loyal to me? Why does he want to keep everything secret? Why does he not trust his own voters? Is it because he looks down on his own voters and has nothing but contempt for them? That's the impression I get. The impression I get is that he feels that he could, go out and start shooting people on Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose a single vote. If they're already trying to put you away, why don't you disclose everything you can? Even if you don't have the documents anymore, you saw them. If you brought them with you, that means they meant something to you. You know what these documents have. Why don't you just start tweeting it out? Oh, because your lawyers said that's a bad idea? Why? Are they going to charge you with more stuff? They've already thrown enough charges at you that you're sure to be convicted of. They will put you away for the rest of your life. And so, why not go out with a bang? Why go out with a whimper, Donald Trump? Is it because you're weak? Is it because you still think that you can get these people back on your side? I don't get it. Burn them, go down in flames. Rather than letting them execute you, why not just go for the bonsai charge? What do you have to lose? Worst case scenario, you take down a couple of them with you. I wanted to talk about Hunter too today, but I think that's enough there about Trump. Maybe I'll talk about Hunter tomorrow. So, with that said, I will see you folks back here then.